Namaste everybody, and welcome to October 2019 energy update. So we are in such a strength of powerful energy at the moment, and everybody can feel it. I feel the theme of the energy right now, the vibration, is what we've been asking for, working for, what we've known, what we've been seeking, the understanding of the Aquarian energy. How I see it is we're in the wave, and you can look at that in an ocean if you like, the wave where the wave is literally coming up and we're just turning. We're at that turning point and we're right in it, and it's actually happened incredibly quickly. And it's a bizarre thing to say, because when we're awakening, we see every aspect and every part of the journey as, quite hard and heavy work, and it can seem like it's taking forever. When we look back and look at just, even 3 years to 5 years, so much has happened. And each part and layer of the ascension process, which is the breaking down of everything as we know it, to a different way of living, of being, of allowing ourselves this freedom, this aspects of spirituality, and the compassionate side of that, of we're all just equal, and that we will care equally for others as we do ourselves, not just ourselves, friends and immediate family. So that's a good way to look at it. But looking back, we have come through this incredibly quickly, and the mass breakdown of establishment, of systems, of the man-made capitalism and materialism that we are aware of, is also happening in enormous ways and very quickly. And we have very powerful voices standing up collectively. We've known that over times through music, maybe different awakened people with messages, through being maybe famous in some level or awareness that get to reach people, to the normal person. And that, what I mean by that, is we're all the same, but the normal person that you don't expect to have the influence, the impact, making this difference now. And it's happening everywhere, which is allowing us to see the empowerment side, that actually each of us can achieve this. We all, as long as we speak our truth, and that can vary because we all have our own truth, but the collective truth, to wanting this for everybody, then, our voices can now be heard. A few interesting things that I've observed in the energy at this moment of these many spiritual souls that have done so much of the first wave and second wave of work. There's still much to be done. I can still see that the focus is going within, which is what we need to do, but it's almost like a silence of not holding space to the level that they have been holding space, which is quite a strange and strange thing and surprise to us all, because as I say, this is something we've all been working for so long, and it's where we need the momentum now to really not just sit back and think we've got there, not that we're all okay for this to happen, because there's still so much to be done. We need this collective energy now more than ever to, yes, continue the work within, continue to hold space, but to take the active participation of what we've been trying to achieve, the voice that's coming through, and seeing the bigger picture, that it's not always the subject that's being raised maybe, but the collective, the bigger picture, and all of these elements create the awakening, create the Aquarian energy of this new way, this new life, this new way, part of how we are being. So the energy at the moment is bringing us so much power, and it's how do we use that power. And for all of us within this group, I'm sure, and for an awful lot of other people, we understand that the power is not the money. The power is, something much different. And the power for us now as spiritual beings is the seeing and the knowing. And we've had to do an awful lot of work on ourselves to see and to know, to even understand what's being spoken about now in these words, because the seeing and the knowing is having a totally different perspective outside of ourselves and observing everything as a collective. And again, there's many layers to what our own individual awareness will allow us to observe, and how big we can push those boundaries out to not be in it or analysing again, to see the whole, if you like. The action that we're needing to take now is to literally use our voice and speak up, but more so than we had done before. And I always use this as a descriptive way of realizing the bigger picture of we didn't realize it, but we soon do after we start to awaken on how we have to strip back ourselves on an individual level, and how deep we had to dig to use our voice for ourselves even, and our own self-confidence and self-worth to way before we even got to understanding what we are having to stand up for, to awaken, and what that meant. It was a huge thing for us to do that for ourselves, within our friends, our family, the community, and then getting out there and make a difference. And we're being called to do this on a much deeper level now, and to do it for the collective. And it's not just okay for us to sit back and just feel that the collective energy, everything is just rolling into place just by going within and being ourselves. And of course we have to continually do that, but we're going to have to step up and do more now. The collective vibration is not just associating yourself with somebody you like to do a part of maybe work or join alliances in some way. It's way beyond that. So I feel like this energy is allowing us to see this a bit more clearly now, and maybe for the first time at this level, being shown what that collective is. And we have to step up and use this power of seeing and knowing in a really positive way. I suppose my example would be everything I've ever been shown, and stepping up and using it and getting it out there. And that's not been easy for me to do. It's been quite a hard thing for me to learn to do, particularly when everything is so out there that I bring out to the world, that now becomes normal. But the next things that I'm getting, and the illusions that I've seen, the channeling I've seen, I touch on that and bring it out, and up to about 6 months after the event. And then actually in a while they will become normal. But at the moment people will be, what is that? But that's taking action. That's using this power in the right way of seeing, of knowing for the greatest good of all. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have delivered the courses I deliver. I wouldn't have delivered the meditation and the self-development and the transformational stuff I've delivered over the years, which would have meant I wouldn't have done the work on myself or held space for lots of other people to do that themselves, and then them to hold space for other people. So we have to really take stock of this, not feel in a comfortable place ourselves, and that's okay. I've got it now. I feel awakened, and I'm going to plod, because that's the energy that's coming in at the moment. Amazing spiritual souls sat back and almost literally plodding, observing, but observing is not enough at the moment. We have to actively participate, and we've got to push ourselves to the next level. We know we've got to a place of understanding what's going on, but we have to support it and take it through that next wave, as the wave literally, the wave crashes down, and it's like the tower card, it crashes down, and everything to break as it's breaking has to crash down. But it's because the foundation we've built everything on has not been from the right place. It's all been for the betterment of control and fear. And now that's coming down so that we can build everything in a place of compassion and love. And unconditional love has been experienced by very few. And I believe that the universal interpretation of unconditional love is to be far beyond the depths that we're experiencing now, even at the highest level, and the depths of really nothingness and oneness meditation. So we have to step up. And we all need continued development to do this. And, whilst we aim to just be everything's within, that is it. I've often said if I could bottle that when I'm delivering my high dimensional courses, that would be it, to just be. But to just be, I've always said as well, and I've never understood fully until now, that the actively participate is essential. And we've done this for ourselves, those of you that resonate with this, and now we've got to do it with the collective. And it's beyond just helping those that come to you and those that you seek and seek you. It's way beyond that as well. So we can only grow when we're challenged. So we must know that we are, what we're receiving and what is new to us, because that varies, and what we're getting is the information that allows us to shift. So we get an element of that through channeling and through going within in our meditations, and we also get an element from it of having space held from us in whatever capacity, or learning something that triggers something off or challenges us. And this is definitely not just going and having something done for us like a reading or something, or asking someone else to do the work. That you're way beyond that. But this is where the answers are within, but there's a sacred space held for us to find it and to dig another layer and to get a bit deeper. So the ultimate energy at the moment is we must continually work on ourselves, and we're going to be feeling it, that to step up. And although we want to focus on helping others, we have to continually keep going with ourselves. There is nothing wrong with helping other people at a really high level of inspiration, but still doing the work on yourself. It's what it's meant to be. It's balance. And, if you look at that, if not, you won't ever grow, and nor will those that work with you. There would become a saturation point that you just literally, not learning or seeking, and you want to be able to share and evolve. And the same goes for your friends and your family. So this is what brings us change. And, looking at many aspects of that, that come. The energy for the full moon as well on the 13th of this month, so that will be on, is it on Sunday? It's going to be triggering and lots of things for us. So it's an opportunities that are coming, and the opportunities are for betterment. And it's a strange word to use, betterment. What does that mean? And that can be a different thing for each of us. But it's a place and a point where growth and happiness can come from something, from an opportunity. It's almost like we're realigning relationships. And although intimate relationships will be affected, it also can be from the relationship with ourselves. The energy around this time is of home, family and relationships, and the balance of what do we need and what do we want. And that can always be reviewed. And, if people still are feeling some duality, which is not the current energy, but some people still have that residue, and that's okay, but just work with it to release it. You're going to probably feel what you've got within and what you've got without, and that can bring some sort of tension. So release any inner tension. You've got all the tools that you need with your awareness, your healing and your meditation. So, just work with that as well. And there's lots of different influences around, as always. And, we've got Pluto that challenges and Jupiter that brings opportunity. So there's that tug and pull again. So just looking at how people awaken and the energy that we're in at the moment, there's a lot of I've awakened, I'm in this realm, I'm in that realm, and they place themselves in lots of different specific areas, which is why I'm always careful to say fifth dimension and beyond. And I think the fifth dimension is the beginning. We don't have those labels. We can't possibly have those labels. So just being open to it's great. We all awaken through different pathways. We've all have to have lots of different input to help our souls be nurtured into awakening. But it can be and will be felt at the moment as a very intense energy. So the best thing to do is just keep seeing through all of the influences. The power that comes in with Pluto can be quite structured, and it literally, there is just no stopping this energy. And looking at what power is, power can be an amazing, beautiful thing to take us through. It can also be quite aggressive and strong. So just looking at this energy of being powerful, not forgetting the Pluto Saturn alignment for 2020, where that brings in this energy absolutely fully. And just a reminder for that, the Saturn influences are of the financial, political, governance, corporate world, the establishment, but for doing the right thing. And the Pluto is the pressure on the financial places and transforming them to be authentic. It's Pluto's job that will forcefully bring through, the shifts in how we deal with financial issues. And, that can be online banking, removing currency, the value of it. And, it'll be Pluto is looking at making the power to be empowerment. And it works very much on inner self, going deeper and deeper. And it can seem quite heavy energy at times and maybe a bit darker, but it's actually always for the good, because we ultimately step into our authentic power. So, that's what we're literally heading for. And that's what we're going to see really through all of 2020. And it's just so refreshing for us that can see this and are aware of it. And again, using the tower as the symbolism of this, really, as breaking down the ocean of the wave, crashing down, but only because the foundation's not okay. So actually, it's such a relief that we can have this opportunity to rebuild and do things the right way, beyond our egos and beyond our fear. So it can appear to be quite dark right now with these energies, but it can be also incredibly light when we're not having and entertaining the fear. We have to be realistic. Our bodies are three-dimensional, so we are three-dimensional. We're not just shifting to fifth dimension and beyond. We're navigating this journey, and our energy, our bodies are from the third dimension, and we have to remember that. And as we are awakening, there's aspects of us that are seeking this change and seeking this goodness. And that's where it's the game changer. That's where everything changes and evolves for all of us. We're going to feel, we have felt, very challenged by authority. And I feel like the tide has turned that much that authority will feel challenged by us. And you can look at that as on a individual basis, or you can look at it as a collective basis, because both will be relevant. But we will challenge the forces of authority now. And because we are all seeing that we deserve more, we're no longer going to live under these constraints and restraints, because we're realizing that actually, what is this? How is this set up? And it just doesn't make sense. And then in this crazy financial world of, we started with where and how things are spent and all of this hard-earned money. And look at it at a very basic level. When there's a disaster in the world, it's us that reach into our pockets to pay. When there's a charity that needs some help, it's us that reach in to pay. When we need the taxes paid to what it is, us that reach in to pay. When people are talking about pensions, and for years on a very off remark can be, pensions won't be there at a certain age. Well, now the reality is, what is a pension? What is going in? Why? How is that working? So, on the really basic level of all those three-dimensional aspects, we're not accepting all of this anymore, and we're realizing that actually we don't want this fighting. We don't want all this controversial and war, and we feel for everybody that is whatever we relate to, a son or a daughter or a mother or a father or a brother or a sister, whatever it is. When we see people in a different country of a different ethnic race or whatever it is, we at that level, when we're resonating, we no longer want there to be a them and us, however that is set up, because there's many levels to that as well. So we know we deserve more, but we know we collectively deserve more. And then that will be for those that are still in fear, which are running all these controlled environments, that they will then have to break down too, to do them work on themselves, because they are too also part of the oneness. So we need to be understanding our power and our force, which is very different, and turning it into empowerment. And that is not being bolshy. It's not being aggressive. Empowerment is a wonderful thing, but empowerment is not over each other. Empowerment in this context is of us all together. So our greatest power, just to bring this through clearly, is our knowing and our seeing. And it's not the money and control we know of, but maybe we've not realized it's the seeing and the knowing that we have the ability to do this. We have this ability of our intuition, our guidance of knowing who we are and seeing things, and that makes us an important part of this whole collective vibration. To be enlightened, after all, is to be lighter, is to have denounced and removed so much from us. But first we have to plow through all the drama and the breaking down of everything. So although we have removed ourselves from drama, we don't entertain it anymore, we don't want to do it, this is the only time of the challenging and the drama that gives us the opportunity to rise up and to bring us out of what we're in. And the fact is, it cannot be done without it. So challenges, struggles, standing up voice, I feel there's a high chance that now we're going to all wake up to realizing that these dramas that we're playing out on our own lives, as we've now stopped entertaining in, now we have to go into the collective dramas. And we're so used to removing ourselves from that we're forgetting now, which is where the silence is coming in, to stand up to face the drama that's occurring on the collective. We have to do all that work that we've done on ourselves again, but for the collective. We have to learn how to do this for more than just ourselves, and that's what's coming in now. The truth is about being called in to clear the way. And we have to be the truth. We have to stand up and be the truth. We have to be strong, and we have to collectively rise. And whilst we're doing this, we've always said thank you to who's been challenging us. Well, we didn't always. We got to a point where we could thank those that have challenged us, thank those that hurt us most, for instance. But now we have to do that as a collective, to the governments, the establishments, everything that has been challenging us, we are now challenging them. So just to be aware that whilst we've got all these alignments and we're going through all this, it can make our financial situation and our relationships and all sorts of everything a little bit wobbly. And know that when we have too much resistance, some things do get taken away when we get too attached, and we will be okay. And it's allowing ourselves to know that and to take ourselves through the healing journey. But it just seems to me so full on and like a spotlight on this at the moment that I don't think many have realized, and certainly not put out there yet. I've not heard of anyone mentioning it, that everything we've done for ourselves, we've now got to do for the collective. And yes, that means standing up and going through the drama again, but on a bigger scale, not the individual level that we've been through. And that's the only way we can shine our light, bring through the truth, and move ourselves into this new, vibrant, current energy, new vibration, and Aquarian. Namaste, everybody.